Hi there, brave souls who walk the path with an open heart and open mind. Hi, my name is Špela, and I'm co-creator of Soul Creation Temple Space, and someone who is very devoted to just the path, right? Through body, mind, spirit, soul, and through the whole resonance of existing of the psyche, the human, the 3D, the 4D, the 5D, the 12D, the 13D, the architecture, the embodiment, the somatics, and all of it. Okay. This series, the 3-part videos are the first one. Go check. It's called the death, and rebirth of the whole soul self. Was made a few days ago through the Scorpio new moon. And it is my way of letting mystery speaks through me, through transparency, clarity, being very raw and very present with everything that is happening in the world, around me, inside of me, and everything. Okay. For the 36 years, I tried to understand everyone around me because I do hold the autistic traits. I am super empath. I've been walking the path of purifying, embodying, bringing to some kind of stability my wholeness through being so super open with no boundaries. I didn't land here with awareness what the boundary is, why the heck we should have boundaries. What does it mean to have greed? What does it mean to have all of these lower emotional 3D, 2D landscapes? I've learned them hard ways, and through the rainbow frequency that I hold, the sensitive soul that I am, which really have to learn everything hard way. I now use my sensitivity really as my gift, but also as a clear boundary, and of accepting myself. I've decided to create a place called Amethyst Mama, Amethyst Womb Cave. So Amethyst Mama Bear Womb Cave, which is the 3-month container that I'm gonna talk about it. So yeah, this video does have the part where I'm going to invite you into something to continue the journey. But let me go step by step. Okay. I just personally also moved through a huge scape of emotions, through going into the Kali territory, which is the last. We are in the snake year, right? Last quarter of the snake year. I've been just tapping into the grids like Malta, the bee wisdoms, and also the goddess temples around the world. And I also been tapping into the supreme Shakti consciousness. So I am going to show you how it looks to go into vastness of creation from pure chaos, trusting the pure chaos, and just bring them some sense of it. Okay, because yeah, the mental body does need the sense of it, right? It does need stabilization. Your inner being does need. And people often come to me and try to, and disclaimer, I am not a psychotherapist. I am someone who did a lot of school around embodiment, about quantum technologies, and also about the body awareness through different approaches. So I'm really trying to weave everything together through the wholeness of spectrum that I'm perceiving as my reality, and in the same time believing that the path that I'm walking, because I'm a constant, never-ending student, is something that the world has to hear if they're aligned with the frequency. Because the path of the healer, which is just here for ourselves, right, is mostly a lot of time the one that we are just always on the go, on the way, and we don't want to share while we are on the way. That's why I started this video very differently, like the previous one. My energy is very differently. I am not someone when you want like a full-on consistency in the sense of I'm gonna talk like they teach me in the school of behaving myself. Yes, I've done that because the word didn't escape. No, couldn't handle the vastness of the rainbow spectrum. And here is my space, here is my place where I invite all of us to see how a lot of energy and life is moving through us, and how we can bring that into safety in our own selves. And that's why I started with clarity, transparency, accountability, and vulnerability, right? I trust that you have something from this in your awareness, and you are anchored in the pillar, because what we are entering through this death and rebirth of your whole true soul self is like the whole soul self. It's freaking fucking depths of the psyche, and it's not an easy rainbow unicorn farts and marshmallow cupcakes. It is not. It's the psyche, it's the Maya, it's the illusion, and it's a lot. So today I am starting with presenting you another precious, dear helper of mine, the sacred coral master dragon that I ride. It's from Venus. It's the golden child of the Venus, and it's my templating awareness that love, really love, how the love speaks to me, through me, for me, and for the outer world who is capable to hear it, is not my responsibility. Then everything, my responsibility is that I am anchored in love. How you hear it, how you perceive it, is your landscape of everything, of the conditioning of everything we have in our bodies, some mental bodies, physical, emotional, and we're just like really just trying to breathe, right? And Kali is speaking through me today. She's my teacher, like I said in previous video, and I didn't meant to go so much indirectly. I have some framework that I want to present, but it's just I'm here, I'm in. And in the previous video, just to sum it up, we went through awareness that one of my greater goddess activators was Pillar, right? The Hawaiian. So Tahiti, Hawaii. For she originally is from Tahiti, but let's not go today into the whole Pillar stuff because I will not end in 10 hours. I did present through the Pele, but through the aspect of Pele who is already contained, who is in the peace, who is in stability. And I have my Antara friend with me, the cherry, which is the Antara womb and especially ovarian alchemist. Today I have my golden child, Venusian golden child dragon rider helper. And I'm diving into the landscape of the psyche, of the feminine, of the Maya, of the illusion. And that's why we need awareness. That's why we need consciousness. And Amethyst Mama Bear container, Amethyst, right? Representing purification, representing the violet flame, representing you can call it Saint Germain. If you work with the master territory, you can call it the flame of the new earth. You call it the father, the 15-dimensional flame of the father consciousness, whatever it is for you. When I put together the frame of the Amethyst Mama Bear was, okay, we need the scent, we need to be held, even you may be not having a partner or aware partner or community or family or anyone. Actually, yeah, we live in the places where separation and being alone in your own landscape of dealing with yourself, it's something normal. And I hear you, because for me, as really seeing, sensing, feeling everything on such a profound level, and that's my medicine, and also a struggle, right? To really be able to tune in, tap in into every scope of awareness, sensation, and everything, and smell and deep knowing and hearing and sensing and feeling and everything, is okay. We need to descend. We need to bring this descension into new level of refinement of our bodies, because our bodies are afraid of descending, because it's so crazy and so chaotically can be, because we don't have support, we don't have enough awareness. It's a part of the loop of the dark feminine, which we are transmuting, guys. The last quarter of the snake year, it's the deepest work with the true medicine of the snake, of the taps, of the shedding, of the creating new feminine in your psyche and your templating, which is one, right? And I knew we need support for that. And I knew we need to go into the body the way we never done before. That's why we search for relationships, any kind of partnerships, right? And because we are also transmuting and clearing and creating a completely new framework of partnership, friendships, co-creatorships, businesses, and all of it, everything, right? We know everything is collapsing to be rebirthed as new. I wanted to offer us, as myself, as us, as we, as those of you resonating with this, as such a profound need, but on a completely different level, and to go knowing that the Father is holding this. Because he always did, right? We went through the journey of separation and being separated and all of it, and the whole earth is still going through that. And the Father, the flame of purification, is holding this deep, warm mother wisdom of the Divine Mother, and the ancestors are standing with us, and our body is opening in this sacred, firm place of the cave. There is our womb, once coming out of the unaware elementals and gates and stargates into refinement of somatic rebirth of the whole soul self. So forgive me if I went too deep, too quick. It is my part of my templating. I am truly learning with also my supervisors. I have to tell you, I have supervisor because of the autism, because for me, the boundaries and the way you perceive the world was always a problem. So I do, believe me, work with other people's, so you also can be safe knowing that it's not something that I'm just trying to blur or purge or trauma bond. It's something that I am truly aware of what are my traits, how my traits can positively and deeply, profoundly change the lives of those who are ready, and how much more aware I have to be because I'm perceiving the world completely differently. So I go too quick, too deeply. I go all in. And if you're not a person who is safe enough right now in this moment with this level of Kali consciousness, which I will talk about it in a second, then maybe just before everything, just sit with yourself. Because also the part when my psyche, feminine psyche, was acting as a cataclysm activator of the mother wound, the father wound, and any wound in you is done. I'm going to talk about that, how the feminine psyche and especially the rose lineages. Yes, these are the concepts, I use concepts as Kali, as Hinduistic teachings and High Tantra teachings and Buddhistic teachings and Zoroastric teachings and Christianity and all of it, Gnostic teachings with scrolls, with everything, like I said in the first video. But I'm bringing it into expressed embodied wisdom, and expression is one of my gems. I am so expressed in sense of because there's so much of me that the biggest gift of the self for myself was starting to express myself through arts, through dance, through videos, through sharing my voice, and the medicine that I have walked through, just learning how to be here on earth, and not trauma bond, but create from the medicine that we were giving. There's a global shift going on in the feminine psyche, and I really invite you into that, because it only happens when your nervous system, your soma, find a way to work with the crystalline consciousness, and really from the depths of your inner being is starting to vibrate. Your own inner innate frequency starts to vibrate completely differently. When I close the eyes, I go into my body. I am within the body, right? I don't need to go remembering of reparenting the brain structure. And I tap in and I tune in and I breathe and breathe out. And everywhere there is still separation going on in me between body, soma, whole soul self, I first call myself in. I'm showing you the therapy that I'm doing with myself, right? At all the times. And I then see how much of me, someone who is experiencing through awareness the self, through the higher mind, experiencing my body deva elemental self and the soma, how much of me is still in the present, trigger in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, how much of my story is still conditioning what I'm telling and what I'm presenting and in the past from any kind of survival. Then I see how my body posture is and how I can breathe, not shaming, blaming, but seeing what happens when I pour so much love and awareness in the body, and really perceiving with the inner eye, the soma, how it flies, you see, how how is flowing and connecting with the totality of all the chemical processes, hormonal, physical, emotional, and what she needs. And in this moment, you can see how we brought ourselves, how I brought myself from the full scope of, oh my God, I want to tell you so much. I want to just blur everything on you because there's so much wisdom, there's so much knowledge, there's so much medicine I want to share with you. Into, okay, let's stabilize the field. And let's know that everything is present. Probably the internet is also very bad because I'm on top of the hill in a very beautiful place in Croatia where I hold the Aurora Sanctuary template. That is very much connected with Atlantean inner earth grids and Aurora Rose teachings, but coming back into the center, into the innate inner pillar. And just knowing that I've showed you now how we move through emotions, through awareness of all the emotions being part of the self, through higher awareness, bringing us into clarity, into stability, and then consciously decide how we want to continue. When we start, everything that was present with me was seeing a beautiful sister who holds also a very strong Freya template thing, right? How she was just full on her rage. She was just full on. And I was like, okay, sister. Yeah, tell him, go get him. And in the same time, I had to check in what triggered that brings in me not taking my space to express myself like this, being judged to express myself from masculine inside of me, or just that not being my frequency. And it's not, for me, it's not black and white, it's rainbow. For me, it's all of it. Like, I am not attuned, tapped into identification with the goddesses through different lineages, but I do work with them to understand the feminine psyche. You know what they say through Krishna teachings? God is the one who put first layer of Maya on his back. The second layer, no one knows, right? So when we're diving into these territories, we do have to have consciousness and awareness, because otherwise we're looping the spiral down into emotional fields, into overstimulation of the past. And when I came in, there was a lot of present. I don't know if my fridge just closed completely. My dog was snoring behind, and I was just like, I have so much information I have to share. So if that way of seeing my vulnerability, vulnerability, and the way we process data, emotions, and express it through our beingness and coming really into the somatic stability isn't something that resonates with you because it's maybe too hectic or too advanced or too whatever, please just don't project and just say, thank you, I was able to observe myself, that's not my container, and go. If this way of not trauma bonding, which is really my highest expression of wanting to bring it through into the feminine circles since always, is okay, we got some process going on here. There's a lot. And yeah, there is the Freya part, duality, which is the expressed emotions, where it's everything so much, and there is the Kali part, and we have lunar and solar expressions, right? And then the rainbow expression of all of the archetypes, which can be Kali, the structure, so cutting the shit of the heads and everything. And then it's a solar expression of Kali, which is, she is the primordial Shakti. She is the highest, most high attuned expression of alchemy, solarization of our inner templating. And then we have, of course, my beloved dear activator of my journey, that I expressed through me in the first video of death, and rebirth of the whole soul self, Pele. You know what the story of Pele and Moana, right? They stole the emerald from her heart, and the feminine in all of us, she's raging, she's doing shit show, she's doing manipulation, she's doing the trauma stuff, she's doing so much of the things, doing right instead of the being, because she's not tapped in, tuning into the frequency of inner innate safety, reparenting the heart, not needing to numbing the belly where all the emotions are, and really can just fucking blast out herself, right? Through the heart space. Sit with that for a bit, right? I brought in now Kali, I brought in now Freya, and I brought in Pele. And then we have the whole Sophia spiral thing, that is a free 80 minutes journey on 2nd of December, where you can actually land into the actual space for free, where you can then decide if you want to continue the journey into the sacredness of the belly heart, reparenting of your soma safety, and just this being health in this whatever you need to rage out blur out, shit out. It's like a really deep medicine priestess container. It is whole through the solar consciousness of meditating the Atlantean wisdom teachings of the feminine, Christ Sophia, Christ Mary Sophia through Atlantean, and through the templating of the Bridget Guinevere, which is the whole thing about Avalonian timelines. And everything is just a framework of the solar consciousness of the highest expression of the feminine. So we have enough of the consciousness field to go into the part that are still raging, blocking your heart capacity. And if I would say that what was the goddess, the archetype of the goddess that I journey with the most was definitely Kali. Everybody knows that who worked with me. Like going through complete destruction into complete sovereignty with her, with that templating. Inanna, Ishtar, of course, and of course also Persephone, right? But I do honestly believe that it's also time for the feminine to get to the point of stability of the nervous system, soma, where this journey doesn't need to be hard fuck. There doesn't need to be the whole thing in the sense of losing ourselves, but also not escaping the vastness that is still present, especially if you're empath on the path. And I'm talking hardcore empath or just attuned tap in, right? Or awakening in your innate just being, right? Who, after all the structures and the templating and the world what is we are currently experiencing is a self soul. And we can just bring love and light in. My God, I've been sitting probably every time that I'm like where is truly the difference for me personally for going inward, going into the death, rebirth of the whole soul self, and what is really just love and light, and it just send you love and light and stand in that frequency, and how much escape in the current world that we are experiencing is the New Age teachings, or also just the mind. Yes, we can live in the state I can, in the state where I just observe myself. Truly, I've experiencing these states for a lot of periods of time because I've consciously came to the, I don't know what you want to call it, enlightening or a realization of these, whatever. I don't want to put any labels. And yet in the same times I do, so we can convey. But contemplation is really the part where the mind remove the chitty chatty, create the space for just sit with you. How much of love and light through just I am aware, and these solutions, of course, I am awareness experiencing itself. So do I not attach to my body sensations and everything is going on with the body? And in the same time, going too much in the depth of I am body, I am all of it. And it is a fine attunement call, right? It's fucked up shitty show when you're just also so sensitive and not being on the path of what every empath or autist has to go through to really become sovereign in innate capacity of sensing, feeling, knowing, smelling, and all of the emotional scope. And yeah, let's bring that back to the Sophia, the spiral, the inward spiral of Sophia. There is not a huge difference. It is difference in teachings. One are the Hindu teachings, one of the Gnostic teachings from Christianity line. And I'm going to return now to the whole death, rebirth of the whole soul self. And honestly, there's so much I want to share, and so much the juice that is going to be shared in in the safe, closed container, and also in our community space that we have just opened up, and still a little bit reshaping, of course, and it always will, because it's going to be it's involving living community hub for all of the sensitive ones and all of you on the journey. So we are going to co-create it. So it's not like you come to community and you're just there. No, it's a co-creation. So if you're ready to co-create in the community hub, please, you will have the links below, and please check this out. But also be aware that if you're really allowing yourself to tune in, tap in into video 1, video 2, video 3, there is a special invitation and gift for you. It will give you, this gift is, you can actually get a free entrance into the journey, this 3 months most important journey for the inner innate recalibration, stabilization of your field, and fine attunement of your partnership between your soma and body, and really bringing you into the now through the soma wisdom, so whole soul self, for free, through the lens of reciprocity, not transaction. And I will talk about that because most of my teachings for the last 2 years was how to really bring the whole idea of currency back to love, and not as a plug and conditioning through every relationship that we have. It's about the money, right? So check out please also the container that I opened for one person, because I'm doing this individually for the 7-pillar reparenting of the money wound that is blocking your feminine in such a profound way. But yeah, if you're gonna watch all of the 3 videos, go through the rambling, go through the structure, go through the just feminine wholeness and everything that I am moving through, and take notes, observe your to take the notes because I said so. It's so you can observe yourself, so you can not just listen for the sake of listening, not just feeling for the sake of feeling, and just like tune in, tap in, and take the medicine that is transmitted here. There's so many different layers of the auric field, okay? And this can open the free entrance for your Amethyst Mama Bear chamber, warm chamber for you through the sacred reciprocity, okay? So, yeah, we have moved through a lot, right? And I clearly, through transparency and clarity and presence and vulnerability, showed you how it likes to move constantly through so much emotions. I have studied, I have teachers and guides, and also supervisors who are still impressed of how much really can go through the autistic brain, and yet we tend to really or go completely in destruction or bring the medicine through. And if you're triggered through anything that I'm presenting, is because something in you needs more love, more transparency, more clarity, more vulnerability, more present with your own self. Okay? And my intention to share myself here is not because I'm just loving this, because I don't. I love to be in the closed spaces where we can just go on full on, and at the same time just be in the silence. And I do know how to be in the silence. I do know how to be in the nothingness. Oh my God, in the nothingness, through any kind of perspective. And also how it is to ask for that consciously, which I'm going to explain through my well experience. And then just, yeah, I think that was, I've created a whole simulation of Trinity of the heart to prepare myself and those on the path for that level of death that I knew I have agreement with the consciousness of the whales and the Sufi teachings of the heart chambers, because I wanted to consciously experience myself how it is when you go beyond I am into full dissolution, but in the same time stay in the full presence and observer mind of going into the death of the old self, holding the space for yourself, and birth your new self. And everything you're seeing, here, feeling, sensing, experiencing is the process of that. And honestly, I didn't want, for 2 months, I didn't want to share myself with nobody. But the nudges of my higher self is like, please share. What else is going to be your legacy, right? And I'm like, do I need the legacy? And there's like, okay, so you want a house to be a legacy? No. Do you want a car to be the legacy? No. Do you want children to be the legacy? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. Also adapting, because genetics works differently than people still might think. Okay. So what is then really the legacy that I, in this moment, wants to bring forth? For me, it's really important that I always said in this moment, because of the vastness of my own soul self, is it is in the moment and pivoting in the moment. So in this moment, for me, the highest call of my legacy is to start to share my whole soul self, not giving a damn anymore of the projections, because they were never mine in the first place. And I did 10 years therapy for that. But then finally, with the compassion and really new perception of the soma, just finally, thank God, for to some of degree really contemplate into the body. They did just projections of anyone, and I can feel every projection, every thought pattern you send my way, because that's how open I am. And everything else, I can feel love, all of the scopes of emotions, right? And in the same time, just to finish the thought pattern here, I really come to a realization, it's not my fault for you to have projection. It is my responsibility. And all of the non-dualistic teachings that brought me into more fragmentation of the self, that it's all just part of the mirroring, right? Well, there's also boundary with that, because if the body is not stabilized enough, the mind will not have the place to land. And if you go into non-duality teachings, any kinds of tantric high expression teachings, and if your body is not stabilized enough, even the knowledge can become too much for your field and can fractalize you and disembody you, because then the projections and your own projections can really create a shit show story. And here comes the feminine psyche through Kali, Sophia, and the death of my own soul self, and the importance of really owning the belly, owning the hips, owning the first 3 ego structure chakras, if we go by chakra systems. And to bring that now a little bit more in, again, into refinement. And you can see how I work, right? From chaos, full on spectrum, into refinement, observing, refinement, observing, refinement, observing. And I do truly believe that this is the way of feminine psyche to come, right? It is how my body feels the most aligned. And when I said listen to the videos, they're also done through 4 different cycles of my own menstrual cycle. And right now I'm in the most like this wise wisdom. The 3rd one will be just before my period, and the first one that is on the page where you have the Amethyst mama bear was done just 1 day before going out of my lunar cave, the menstrual cave. And you can see how much the psyche is functioning through the hormones. And I don't want to talk about spirituality through this embodied perception of the hormones and how much is all with the pineal and the body and the ovaries and all of it, right? We do start with the womb wisdom. Womb she is the technology of the awareness. Then connecting with the heart. And if the heart is not open and cleared, which is the perception of the pela, then the mind, of course, will be looping in the astral and all the levels of the astral, and just not be safe to go beyond the ether, into the ether and the higher mind, because everything will be what? So to bring all back, this is how we approach. You got so much medicine of what we are learning. You do have to resonate to even hear me, right? But to just finish up this sensitivity as the gifts and the wounds, and it's a journey, okay? And you can get lost so much. I've done that so many times, and my legacy in this moment is to speak out my own pitfalls, from the place of owning them, being accountable for them, being okay with the things, mistakes. I did mistakes, right? There's no mistakes I've done on the way. Being okay with, well, there will be like small amount of people really understanding and feeling safe of this, and it's okay. And if I could touch one person's heart, like without touching them as I want to change you, the wounded healer stuff, I've done it, okay? And in the same time, it's what mother wants me to do. It's just the devotional part for me that it's highest priority for me. And the inward spiral of Sophia, which will be the free attunement 80 minutes gathering on 2nd of December, is really for something to land with the souls who did agree of this level of journey, and to then decide if you want to continue maybe just with the practices, which are completely different from what we were taught. The spiral moving, the hip moving, and qigong and tai chi, and everything will be done through the inner somatic landing. I don't know how to explain you that. You have to feel it to heal it. You have to come and try. I cannot convey, because I am creating from chaos, refinement, and then in the moment. I believe there is so much other ways, but this is how my current, okay? And the whole soul self is the one who is calling me to really be in this vulnerable space, not hiding anymore behind of knowledge, because gosh, I have so much knowledge. All the nights of depression, like 15 years of the depressions, before I finally realized how much stuck in the past I am. Well, I've done the study of all of the ebooks, all of the scrolls, and I have so much knowledge, and I've been hiding beneath the knowledge. And my feminine, she's like, no, we say raw. And what raw really means for us, it's discovering again, okay? And to show up unarmed, like not having thousands of armors, accountable and real, like what it means, that, and how I create for that, and what I want to bring now even into more refinement. I went through complete like flow state, fluidity, all of the spectrums of states, of different kind of states, from the Polarian, first seeding, and Hyperborean, into the Lemurian, Atlantean, avian, Aryan, and now into the new human development of the consciousness through mutation of the gene, right? And yes, there is this moment when people are mostly still are now on the path, even discovering it's not just that what I am right now, right? But in the same time, the present moment is the one that's matter the most. So how I can, with all of that, be here now? Well, for me, the tuning fork work is very profound. Having something to touch, to tap into this now, to feel the everything, and the breath. And when I'm explaining that, we are tapping into Lemurian trauma, which is the divine feminine trauma, if we want to go by labeling, so we can more understand the self, is there was so much medicine, so much water teaching, so much wisdom. There is speaking through the feminine, through the high expression of intuitive wisdom, through high refinement, intuitive oracle wisdom. as Sophia is representing. But there was also the part of the disembodiment, not wanting to be in the body. Okay? The parts of Lemuria are weaving through us. And through this, my own and invitation of your own death and rebirth, to just invite us to all witness how much of that is still present in you. Maybe it will not be your resonance and your truth. I know mine is. Like, to be in so much density as all this awareness is like, oh, I don't need that. I can just be in my plumoria. I can just be in my non-attachment, right? And not experiencing fully myself in the body through polarities, through dualities, through attachments. Blah, blah, blah. But I believe personally that the healing it's happening when also our Lemurian souls templating are landing into the pure ancient wisdom in the now, as the grandmothers were taught me. How that was the English sentence, huh? Were taught me, are teaching me. And just know that there is a medicine in everything, and there is also a teaching in everything. And my death rebirth at whales, I have an agreement with the whales for 3 years. I've been speaking with Mama, with the cub and singer energetically. And this year I went to Morea to experiencing in the same time. It was all divine orchestration, right? And myself being really taking in what I was asking for. Don't forget it. Be conscious about what you're asking for, because you will get it, right? And if you're tuned into the love, the manifestation, not the old way kind of words, manipulation, manifestation, but the flow of clarity, abundance, wealth, and all of it comes in the moment. And my moment happened when I was walking by this ancient Morea pillar, the heart of the Morea, which I got the message that I did the ceremony for the swan grid there, and I asked the heart of the mother to really bless the swan grid. Those of you who knows what's the swan grid will understand, because swan grid is connected with the children of the new urge that are now coming in through the Christic teachings, which means Christ solar consciousness. There is 40,000 children, the cluster of the consciousness that it's approaching the earth. And yes, these are my personal channelings, because I'm connected with the swan gateways, the birth and death gateway very much, and also the swan commit. And these children are parts of the mutation of the gene, and they are part of the consciousness field that is needed for the earth. Oh my God, I went now. Okay. And to not get lost in this, okay, because this is the topic for another time. Well, I've asked for the mother on this sacred mountain of Morea, which for me is the true unity gate, to help to bless the swan grid completely and all the other grids, but the swan was the purpose, with the new feminine unity consciousness inside of me, outside, right? These are the Lemurian 24 quartz installed through esoteric teachings in the earth grids, who are activated inside of me, outside of me, as above, so below, and are now the crystalline medicine that from above and below. I'm shaping the realities of what I'm perceiving and from where I'm perceiving. And I do believe that what was tended there, it's happening already, because it's such a, oh my gosh, profound, powerful grid. And there was also a group of people that were there, so there was a potency of that. And when I was walking up of that hill, right, I lost ability to walk for a second. And then a sister who holds a very beautiful masculine traits helped me to just have a focus and go and walk and breathe and release and attune and be present. And then there were these chant inside of the cave coming out through every leaves, every ground, every soil parts, every sound and everything. And this is how it's like if you're so tapped into tuning. And they say, are you willing to really let go of the belief system that the fall was any kind of your guilt, which is, again, we can perceive that as collective fall or internal fall of the consciousness. And I have a whole right hand foot tattooed with the Lemurian teachings. So if once we again forget, and there's earth that right now we're living when people still grabbing from survival of lack, fear, dependency, and that's reality for sure. So I will have the masculine side, the right side. I will always remember how to balance it, the brains. Even though my brain doesn't work like that, I have a physical presentation of there is no need for the fall. There is no need for the fall anymore. The lunar, the solar, the diamond, the all, and the shades that I have on my whole right foot are just the reminder, and they went through like my whole body, like my tattoo got purified and cleansed and clear, and really brought me into changing the current from fear to love, like embodied change. And yeah, and then I had this experience. I promised to share about that, so that's why I'm sharing. Where I was met by Galactic Sergeant, the whale, the elder, and his toning. And this toning went through every scar, visible, invisible, every opening in my body. I've lost perception, what is above, below, everything went inside. There was a moment where just waves, when I came out of the underwater symphony with this whale. There was a lot of encounters with the whale, but the one who shaped me was the elder, the youngest, and the mama with cup who just finished and closed and burst me into the whole death and rebirth of the whole soul self. And yes, some of them works with medicine. Some of us works a lot with the animal consciousness. Some of us work with that. It's just a path. And some of us are just then going directly into the pillar. But this whale really went through with the sound, which was so precise. And I could really hear how the sound goes from any inner earth chamber, then up with the bubbles through my body. And I do have quite some cuts inside of my body and outside. Everywhere where there was a stitching or anything, I could hear and feel repairing. And there was such an overwhelming feeling that when I came out, I was just observing what is going on. And then this beautiful fish started to, very, very, very beautiful, the one with the nose. It's only in Morea, has this nose. I forgot the name now. I thought that it's tuna fish and shark, and I was just like, okay, if it's shark right now, just okay. That's my death. It's okay. I didn't feel scared. Mahi, I think it was Mahi with this, and it just circled the whole energy field. And then the next day, that was after the mountain experience, the Lemurian mountain experience, and then the second day, this whale, and then the third day, this young whale who was just massaging everything. Like I had a hydro massage through the tone of my body, which really brought me more back in embodiment. And then the third encounter that changed life forever was this mama whale with the cup. Like the joy, the playfulness that they offer. And then when she just disappeared, and of course I was in the water with this cap, experiencing him and the mother and the love the whales have for their cub is just insane. It's just insane, insane, insane. And if I allow myself to experience this love in this moment through my soma, it's just like, oh yeah, we are all under, how you say, under food, under fat, under feed. We do not how to access this amount of love that is given to us through so many different agreements of earth land to us. And I want to invite us all in this moment. I did a whole series of bringing codes through the whale code, through expression, and then through Siren 6D consciousness of anchoring through light codes. So we never forget that this is not just one-time moment. This is how I can bring the awareness that love is really everywhere around me into the safetyness of my body, not to go in the past of trying to relive the experience, use it as a medicine in this now and stabilize my soma, my fields, and reparenting from the inside out. And that's what we are doing in the Amethyst Mama Bear container through the feminine psyche. Because when she disappeared then and just came through our boat with the cup, like so close, I start to shiver. And in the same time, I've got the whole Shakti of my spine. And she just wrapped us, me, and there was a sister who's doing voice healings in Slovenia. We were just like, what the heck just happened? She brought so much love, so much compassion. Another sister said she felt the whole shivering and closing. It was like closing of the bone ceremony that we are also doing in our containers after the birth, rebirth, death, and actual birth. When you're closing the ceremony, if you could see, I also have like a scarf and I don't know how to say, a blanket around me right now, because I am still closing the bones of my death, rebirth, and of the new soul self. So I'm walking everywhere around with that nourishment of my own soul self through the body. And to sum it up, the whales are the master galactic teachers which walked the earth. They also walked on the earth, went back, and they are the part of the mother Lemurian teachings. The whales, the dolphins, the turtles, the eagle race, and all of that, right? And we are not meant to stay there in the timelines like that. I see the Lemurian consciousness as part of the 7D rainbow bridge, like a ladder. I don't know how I say this in English, where I am then traveling in and down, but I'm traveling through my resonance, where I'm standing constantly, is the 7D consciousness, when I'm not overflowed with the pain pockets from the past. But it's the angelic frequency of the Lemurian high consciousness as high priestess. And this is where I'm always calling myself back, not to bypass the pain or any pockets that has to be seen, but to know from where I'm standing from. Because you have to know from where you're standing from, otherwise everything will be too much for you. Especially in the next 3 years, you have to get to know thyself from where is your resonance call frequency to stand when everything is too much. Okay, it's not just for empaths, it's not just for the autistic people, it's for everyone, for men, women, any age, any race, anything, whatever you are describing here on earth to define the separation in oneness. Okay, and now again you can feel the shift in energy, because we are now tapping into the Atlantean timeline. Okay, and just to clarify, when we go into the Amethyst Mama Bear consciousness field through the Solar Christ Mary, we are tapping the places of that disembodying places in us through the solar consciousness into the lunar So we can see the witch, the spider webber, the cold-hearted one, the siren, which are the yearnings of the feminine to come into the wholeness. We are bridging the bee teaching, the whale teaching, the dolphin teachings, the turtle teachings into the rose teachings, right? Which are the pre-Christian templating. So when the masculine patriarch will go south, the rose teachings will be holding the space for the masculine to return. But there is also a transcendence of the consciousness, not through escaping, but through embodying the knowing that the part of the old soul, all teachings of any lineages, has to reshape. I've been working with the Kirk and the timelines of Atlantean consciousness here in Rainbow Bridges for the, I think, 5th year. Why? So I can bring the refined consciousness into the Lemurian part of this embodiment, because there was a moment of split of this embodiment because the trauma started to be created. And those teachings were in co-creation of Lemurian wisdom. You have to know that Lemuria is the mother teachings. Everything that was created from there, the goddess movements, was because there was the original fall in the Lemuria, where it's still implanted in our DNA, and all the dark goddess territory and everything. Like I said, the siren, the dark witch, and the web spider weaving, and the cold-hearted one archetypes are part of the feminine psyche that has to be healed through the Lemurian timeline, where I believe is the original core of this thing. How we do that is through everything, through Kali in her darkest expression and solar expression, through solar Christ Mary, and you name it. Okay, my most dominant timeline that it's available, it's of course through the Aryan human race. It would be the Avalonian, right? And the templating of the King Arthur is the second coming in all of us, or Buddha. I said that in the first video. And the Guinevere, she was the high priestess of the high magic, and high magic means to be tapped in, tuning into the high mind and co-created with, and then just be in that space and create from that space to also co-create with the masculine. And when I went into the very strong energy, I wanted to say the lineages, I've been working with the shifting the perspective of the lineages, because we are so imprinted to freaking fucking swirl in the dark trauma pockets. The rose lineages, which are originated from the Lemurian wisdom and the Venus teachings, we have to know that as initiatrix, we have to stop carrying the belief systems that the masculine needs to be initiated through our wombs, through our consciousness, through our wombs and through our body templatings, and through belief system that you need to initiate anyone. Yes, it was the part, but now there is amount of consciousness available which is leading into the new path. Okay, that's a big wound for the priestess, especially the priestesses of the rose. Okay, we were the initiatrix through the Magdalene lineages, Inanna, Ishtar, the lunar lineages. These are the lunar lineages for so long, and in the same time, you have to get away from describing yourself as I am the Ishtar, I am the Sophia. Yes, so you can tap in, tune in, and then there is you, who is you beyond the scripts, beyond the templating, the lineages, and who is that, and how that being can speak through you, not conditioned with everything. And that's the framework we are doing. And to finish, to sum up, we always go up for the consciousness to awareness, the solarization, and going in. And to not get stuck into the depths, we go inward through the heart, where we touch the places of where we close the heart. And then we have these Atlantean timelines through Meritatin, which is, yes, in the Lemurian timelines where beings of light and love, we floated on songs and crystalline thoughts. We forget the density of the bone and breath. We lost the grounding that allows love to hold form, right? In the Atlantean age, we turn towards intellect and mastery. I know I am holding that mastery. And in the same time, people, we are all just so tired. And for the first time I used "we are so tired" that we just want somebody to do this. And that's why the Divine Mother is. The Divine Mother, she is here to show you the love that you never got from your mother, maybe, or mother as Dark Mother, as the fallen template, as the fallen Sophia, whatever you want to call it. And once you know how to lean into the Divine Mother, you will be just so held, so loved, and so not needed to be codependent, so not needed to leak energy, so not need to prove yourself, so not need to sell yourself, so not need to be in the box of anything, and you will be in the different kind of mastery. Okay? And to continue, Atlantean part. In Atlantis, it's a part of the structure of our psyche again. We build with sound, with geometry, okay? But our minds outran our hearts. Technology rose faster than wisdom. And we are here again, okay? I'm gonna take a moment to just honor everything that lives inside of us when we're allowing to be so attuned, at the same time choosing what story we are going now to replay, or how fine we are already. Both lineages, everything lives inside of you. Okay? They need to be reconciled. Most of the people are now going into the awareness that we don't need relationships where we just have to be codependents, and we can go from codependency into interdependency. For the blue race, I have to say something, guys. I know you will not like that. I already told my brother in Orea. From the belief system of the wounded psyche feminine, we need someone who is presenting like a structure, stability, groundedness, so we can land in because of this embodiment. I invite all of us to go into the relationship of any kind of templating from the perspective of the golden child, dragon rider awareness, which the Venusian, which is the highest love, which means we don't need to replay that because we have a chance to fully embody self through not be codependent, not go through the wound of it, but through awareness. Yes, I'm in the process of learning my body, some somatic wisdom, and I choose you to be the co-creator in this story, not from the codependency, but interdependency. And this is where we are going, for fuck's sake. We are going where we're reshaping all of how we birth children, how we do children, why we do children, why we are in relationship with any kinds of species. It's all here. And the Lemurian heart had to learn to stay in the meta, okay? The Atlantean mind had to bow to the mystery, okay? Through this balancing, a new timelines begins. We are now coming out of the Kali Yuga. That's why Kali is so present, and she was always is, right? And we are going to the next 2 years of the most aligned orchestration of galactic planetary streams. And the one that, right, to bring Lemuria Atlantis into the Aryan consciousness now, but knowing that there is beyond Aryan consciousness, which is now birthing into the advanced souls who came here to bring that. And the 40,000 children is coming here to awaken, not through the old oh, I'm going to birth a child, so I will be awakened. And then not even claiming the awakening that these children contract of these children was. But these are the children who once awakened parents already. So through the balancing of this all of the timelines, yes, I am so goddamn passionate about the conscious everything, conscious conception, conscious death, conscious parenting, conscious authenticity of everything. That's my highest priority. Consciousness, awareness, presence, stability, safety, and just fucking be real and raw, okay, to your own self. And to finish, to balance these timelines into knowing that there's something really new, potent birthing in the next 3 years, is knowing the dance between feminine and masculine side of you, and move the current into the golden dragon rider that is not just spitting the fire. Gosh, I just love how I can be from like nonchalant to just delicate flower. But yeah, the spitting of the fire in the wounded feminine has to be balanced with the masculine, and there are containers for that. And we have to be aware of how much shit we're doing through everyone just being a counselor therapist. And I'm not saying that the school can go, the systems can be more than wisdom. But please, wisdom is combination of knowledge, wisdom, and embodied teaching, experience, living. And through that, I take you to the journey of understanding where we are, what is happening, how important it is to be aware that the sensitive souls are coming in, like so many of them, because your heart original templating is sensitivity, is to be open, is to live in openness, being connected with the mind trusting the body as the soma, the feminine, so he can land, but also the feminine not getting hurt through manipulations. So I'm gonna pretend and show you I'm safe when I'm just like flipping fucking around and just being purging the flames of unrefined pain, right? And all of that, it's all again bring to the heart. The heart is the middle point where everything through the middle channel of water, Saraswati, right? Whatever you want to call it, is connected with the primordial pleroma, waters, void, and beyond that, just the consciousness of itself. Okay? And I wanted for you to check in within your body, how that's landing with you. Okay? How the whale transmission land with you. What you maybe need. Like how from this storytelling you can tap into the stillness, the underwater stillness, yet not get sucked into the underwater unconscious repeating, but bring yourself into the heart, as heart is the art of living in the now with the earth. Yay. I'm gonna try to repeat that. Heart is the art of living in the now on the earth. Thank you for that. And the whales and the womb are just speaking through my being, as there was no, for us, very sensitive ones, there was never a separation. It's just awareness experiencing itself as different species, as different tones, as different. So we have so much experiencing, right? And I would like to finish with this one. I went completely out of script, as always. It's a strong transmission. Take your time to listen. The rose path, the path is the way of softness, and it is born from the shadow. It's not a garden of perfection. It is the wild field that grows after the storm. The rose is the teachings through the thorns, through the whole green thing, through the leaves, and then through the buds and the whole leaves if you really, really, really want to know love in the wholeness through your whole soul self, Rose is the path, the way of softness that is born from the shadow. And yet we are flipping also that story, as that is the new priestess of the golden age templating. And it's not garden of perfection, it is the wild field that grows after the storm. We are having here the wounded archetypal feminine. There's so many dark goddesses archetypes we can work with, but for me, the spider witch, the cold-hearted queen, and the siren are the ones who are just very dominant in the field. And these wounds can really hide, but I think that it's time for feminine in all of us to really own everything and not saying this happened to me. Yes, it is. It happens a lot to me. That's why I have ability to see, sense, and feel all of it. Okay. And through the Amethyst Mama womb cave container, we will be getting into the depths and then expressing ourselves through the heart art and the earth templating. And I also brought, with permission from Morea, the earth, which is the one that is giving me the inspiration through smell and the heart healings that are now coming from the inner wisdom of the spiral of Sophia and Kali, to present you all of this. Okay, the dark feminine archetypes are not enemies, they are mirrors. We can't have light if we don't have dark, but there is a rainbow in between where we have to start to be comfortable. Maybe you are, just perceive it for yourself, but to be comfortable to experiencing all of the shades and shapes and tones and frequencies and yummies of everything. Okay, I would say that the rose path brought me to this point. The bees and the rose path and the whales and the dolphins, which are all connected with the energy flows of our own innate Shakti, wisdom, and the consciousness, and are the descent of fragments into the matter. This is how I perceive it. Okay. It is also the part when the clarity and vulnerability are not opposite but twins. Okay. Clarity without vulnerability becomes armor. Vulnerability without clarity becomes confusion and delusion. I believe that together they create transparency and the light that makes truth visible without the shame. I'm going to say it one more time. I wrote it down because I knew I'm going to also journey through a lot while processing so much energetic flows. So clarity without vulnerability becomes armor. Sit with yourself about that. Vulnerability without clarity becomes confusion. And together, these two create transparency, which in my personal opinion is the light that makes truth visible without shame. So from the deep dive through the rose teachings, the Amethyst Mama Bear Warm Cave, an integrated union in every shape and form of my own soul self, the Soma, right? Which is continuing path. It's not I integrated it, okay? Came the Amethyst Mama Bear Warm Cave, where I am going probably for the last time hold the container for the feminine like that, because my priorities are changing. I am so moral now. I just want to teach about animals and how to work with the animals and the babies and just shifting from trauma to creation. So this is the last container where I'm going to be teaching that, because then let's just say it is, and in this cave we will all meet ourselves as child and as a guardian, okay, and as a whole aware soul self through the higher perspective. It's so important to know there are so many parts of you that need you, and you are the guardians who can block or can open the gates of the rainbow spectrum. And in this Amethyst Mama Womb cave, we will become the one who holds and the one who is held, where we will, in the new forms, shapes, discoveries, meet our own polarities and dualities, not to compete but to complete. And the sacred partnership within your own psyche, where the place where intuition finds structure and structure softens into love. When every act of breath becomes a part of remembering, returning, and reorientating, and to finally end, because there is a place when someone may come here and will be on the beginning and journey, and I will be on the end of this journey, because the beginning is really just the end and the end is the beginning. And we will start with the Santa Lucia holiday of the maiden templating of the 7 seals, and to bring awareness into all of the 7 seals. In the Amethyst Mama Cave, already when I was preparing it, and all of these, when I gave myself also permission to just experiencing myself through different cycles of how I want to express myself to the world, and all this transparency towards the self, taught me really that even though my body went through a lot. Yes, I didn't have a C-section, but I do have a whole body that is cut through the near-death experience, unconscious near-death experience in Brazil 12 years ago. It is inside, outside, cut, okay? And I always have the belief system that my body is not strong enough to hold so much, because I was holding it a lot. And the body is not obstacle to enlightenment. It is the enlightenment unfolding in slow motion, okay? What we will present in the Amethyst Mama Cave, Womb Cave Bear. Every cell holds the memory. Every heartbeat rewires the timeline of your own experience. When we breathe consciously, we can be in the tenderness, which will be then, I don't know, Lemurian and intellect reconciled in our blood. And then we find a way to reparent ourselves through heart, art, and the earth living based, coming from the unconscious ocean of emotion into the earth-based living through the golden child templating, right? And the dragon riding inside of us currents, and become the bridges of the time, translators of the forgotten harmony, not to be stuck there, but to just bring everything into now. Like, I'm the one who those of you who walked from the beginning till now, you know that I am just activations after activation, because it's just how I can function. My brains function like this, right? I can tap into the higher mind and just channel, but it's not anymore what I want. I personally don't want that anymore, because I really had to set with myself from what part of the wounded, when we say wounded, like not seen part of the self, this need of these high activations all the time comes. And I really had to be transparent towards my own self. And I learned the hard way that energy has to settle, has to integrate and to realign, and that takes more time than I, with my mind, can perceive. And that I do not rush my feminine and allow her to gestate, like, tell me how you want it, how you want to birth through the stillness, and you will give it, and you will get it. It's how I have a conversation within the self, right? So when I'm talking about Sophia, embodied wisdom, and Kali, and I will give a huge amount of Kali through all of her expression as Tara, as Mahatari, as Mahakali, and all of the 10 expressions of this supreme Shakti, which is the pure consciousness beyond the consciousness. It's the pure consciousness. It is the pure consciousness. It also came this Sophia inner spiral invitation, the embodied wisdom. And really something shifted how I want to do this work now. Like, for me, there is no more darkness and light. Yes, it is. Don't get me wrong. It is. But it's also the frequency that I'm perceiving. And I choose to decide what frequency I want to now dive in. Because maybe today I don't have the energetics to dive into the landscapes of the frequency that are calling me. But I do have to put a conscious framework where I know that I will not be bypassing and to get into it, okay? And I'm so looking forward to bring forth these inner landscapes of so muchness into the refined way of understanding the we can say the Aryan timeline we've been living in through the last expressions of Kali in all of her expressions, bridge with Sophia, which is the wisdom, the light, the love, inward spiral into the high priestess templating, which is the rainbow high priestess serpentine teachings. And for me, the Guinevere is just, yeah, it's remembering the magic, is where the knowledge comes back to into mysticism. Mysticism is the highest expression of the high mind and the magi in you, right? When it's fully embodied. So I will talk about solar Kali aspects, solar aspects of every being that archetype we will touch. I will talk about Sophia, her descent, her fall, and in general, the Venus archetype when we descend into the lower conditioning, into the lower love as conditioning, dependency, and all of it. And how once you stabilize your field enough and you're very clear, low frequency anymore, your whole reality change, and you don't need to revisit all the time these descents of the Venus. You can do it consciously, but not unconsciously fragmenting yourself, and disembodying through the New Age spiritual teachings and any kinds of teachings which are revisiting the past, revisiting the trauma. It has to end somewhere, and it ends now. It ends with us, right? There's a beautiful moment in the movie called It Ends With Us. That is very my guideline. It's like, it ends with me. And what this ends with me means, it means also the need of the lunar feminine lineages to thrive from the wound and the pearl alchemy and all of it. We don't need to suffer to really be. We can consciously go in, but there is difference, okay? And I want to show you. I want to show you through my own pitfalls, through my own journeys, through my own disembodiments, and through my own really hardships of life, the shifts that can happen in the body. And we can talk about Sophia, we can talk about Kali, or whatever. We're using the concepts for the feminine to have the guidelines and inner childs to feel more contained. Sophia is what happens, in my opinion, when the void realizes its light. It's not that the void is light or the void is dark, whatever, right? We have so many non-dualistic and tantric teachings where we have sushumna, when we have like the void is empty, the void is full, whatever is your jam. I just went through experiencing and into all of them, so I can see what I'm currently more, but I also don't hold so many belief systems anymore. So when I go into the sand, I go because I want to work with conditioning, parental, earthly, through Terra, Tara, Gaia, consciousness fields, where I'm holding the belief systems that are not serving anymore from this level. And to bring everything into the heart, the earth, and the art is the mastery, okay? Where the Sophia can rise through the body, through the golden warmth, and the dragon in me that it's not just spitting everything everywhere, but it's knowing how to stop, but not discouraging silence herself, but to share and know that in this moment this is the legacy, and the forgiveness towards the self of is just the medicine key, and understanding that nothing was separate from the learning, and we really can embody the new feminine, all of us. Okay, the embodied feminine leadership archetype, where then we can go into all the money wounds, the parental wounds connecting to the money, and how you're blocking the money as the goddess money, as the current of energy, as the Shakti, which is the most important thing, and all of that. So I will be talking about the current and the elemental structures and Bali Naga experience in the last video. It will be shorter, I hope. And this is just a call to embodied feminine leadership, the high priestess role of this new earth templating, returning into the wholeness and gratitude is, yes, and also awareness. The feminine psyche heals through relationships, through embodiment, through presence. The more transparent I become, you become, we become, the clearer the world appears. The more vulnerable I allow myself to be. And I'm looking up because I have a whale coat. I have 3 levels of the coats, which are bringing me always into this coherence. The stronger the current of life that wants to move through me is moving through me. And everything will be shared and expressed through the also artistic therapy of our body, somatics, like we're gonna paint with our body. It's birthed, it's now presenting, and now it's up to you if you feel the call. Okay. The Amethyst Mama Womb Cave, it's not anywhere else, but it will be birthed, integrated in your own soma. Okay, it's in the heart, it's in the body, it's in the now. And I close this transmission and all of it that has been moved, because a lot has been moved. And I'm sorry, guys, I forgot all of the lights, the microphones, everything at Slovenia. I don't want this kind of stuff to stop me to not share the medicine. So I will close this second video with deep gratitude for, if you're listening, what he have already moved through. Take a time to integrate these transmissions already. I am forever grateful for the medicine of the whales, of the bees. I'm gonna talk a piece with Sarah. Yeah, I can't wait for you to see this, hear this mastery, and for coming home. I had a friend in Bali who, first things when I come to Bali, to just already put a seed for the next conversation, sent me flowers in my hotel room, my favorite flowers. And he wrote me, "Welcome home." And that was part of the initiation of the masculine for the whole Bali journey for me. That it's now coming into completion. So I want all of us to understand that feminine in us works differently. But it's time to not attach through the wounds, through the neediness, through separation, through dark archetypes who are just part of the psyche who doesn't know that it's loved. So may you feel the presence of your own death. Be safe in your own death, rebirth, and reinventing yourself, right? May you trust the intelligence of your own timing. And if right now to join the Amethyst Mama Cave Bear, it's not for you, it will come when you're fully ready. You will know your innate full fuck yes. And that's the sacral, the full fuck sake yes, okay? And may you remember that Earth is remembering herself. Earth is being blessed by so many gifts, and there is a lot that is going to be going on. And to know the self in the presence of the body, with the psyche, and the higher mind in one as the golden child of the Venus, highest expression of the love, is the gift that I'm offering you here. And I hope it lands with you as it landed with me. It was a long journey to come to here. 10 years of grid work, 12 years of grid work. And I want to invite you also into the new story that's unfolding from this. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being. Thank you for breathing the new world into the form. And we're ending and seeing you into another video, and hopefully into the free Sophia spiral, inward spiral. If you want to see, I have a heart, which is normally the pyramids are made, right, from this. And I have aquamarine here and here, which is heart and throat conversation. So I'm not spitting out the curses, the spells, and the witchcrafts, but I am consciously conveying the reality. And then I have the stone that I found 2 weeks ago on the beach, which is the inward spiral. And I have the amethyst here, and I'm ready to play with you through completely new wild stream of consciousness and abundance in our body. And if that's something resonating with you, please check out all the description. Please check out all the videos and have fun. Okay? Because on the end, when I close my eyes, I see myself as one of the clients that I shared that with her smile, but I'm going to share now also with you my highest expression when I tapped and tuned into that is the Labrador dog running through the gold fields and just being experiencing life, running, feeling, breathing, and just being in the sun. So I welcome you in the sun. See you in another one.